Tonight we are entering one group from the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Four countries, four flags, four different cultures, and four different football stories meeting in the same group. In this video, we will travel calmly through the countries of this group. We will not only look at the teams, we will look at the countries behind them, their cities, their food, their traditions, their famous places, their football history, and the important players who will carry their hopes onto the pitch. Because in the World Cup, every match is more than a score. Every country arrives with memory, identity, culture, and millions of people watching from home. So take a slow breath, relax your shoulders, and let's begin our quiet journey through this World Cup group. Germany is a country in Central Europe, a place of old cities, forests, rivers, castles, industry, music, discipline, and one of the deepest football traditions in the world. Its capital is Berlin, a city shaped by history, division, reunification, art, nightlife, and memory. But Germany is also known through Munich, Hamburg, Cologne, Frankfurt, and many smaller towns where old streets, churches, markets, and football clubs belong to everyday life. To understand Germany, you have to imagine more than stadiums. You have to imagine bratwurst on a cold evening, schnitzel, pretzels, sauerkraut, currywurst, black forest cake, and a long beer culture connected to gatherings, festivals, and local identity. You have to imagine Berlin with its history, Munich with its Bavarian rhythm, Cologne Cathedral rising above the city, Neuschwanstein Castle like something from a fairy tale, the port city of Hamburg, the Black Forest, and the quiet beauty of the Rhine Valley. Germany feels like a country of structure and memory. It carries the sound of classical music, the precision of engineering, the weight of modern history, and the calm order of trains, cities, workshops, and stadiums. But beneath that structure, there is also emotion, especially when football begins. This is the culture Germany brings to the World Cup. Football in Germany is built on organization, mentality, and belief in the collective. The national team is known for discipline, tactical intelligence, physical strength, and the ability to stay calm in moments when other teams begin to panic. Germany gives the World Cup history. It has won the tournament 4 times, and its shirt carries memories of 1954, 1974, 1990, and 2014. German football also carries legendary names like Franz Beckenbauer, Gerd Müller, Lothar Matthäus, Miroslav Klose, Philipp Lahm, and many others who shaped the way the world understands tournament football. And now Germany arrives with another important generation. Joshua Kimmich is the captain and one of the leaders, a player known for control, passing, intensity, and responsibility. Jamal Musiala brings dribbling, balance, and imagination between the lines. Florian Wirtz adds creativity, elegance, and the ability to unlock a match with one movement or one pass. Kai Havertz gives the attack intelligence, height, and experience. Antonio Rudiger brings power and personality in defense, while Nico Schlotterbeck adds modern defensive quality. Manuel Neuer, one of the great goalkeepers of his era, carries history, leadership, and calm presence. In 2026, Germany arrives with pressure, because Germany is never just another team at a World Cup. When Germany plays, people expect structure, they expect mentality, they expect the feeling that the team can survive difficult moments and still find a way. So when Germany steps onto the pitch, remember this. You are not only watching 11 players, you are watching a country of castles, forests, rivers, famous food, engineering, music, deep history, tournament mentality, and a football tradition that has shaped the World Cup for generations. And now we move to another story from this group, a different flag, a different culture, a different football rhythm, another country, carrying its own history, its own flavors, its own places, and its own dream. Let's continue. Côte d'Ivoire, also known as Ivory Coast, is a country in West Africa, facing the Atlantic Ocean and carrying one of the strongest cultural rhythms on the continent. It is a place of music, markets, beaches, forests, football energy, and warm daily life. Its economic heart is Abidjan, a city of movement, traffic, business, nightlife, and modern African energy. The official capital is Yamoussoukro, known for the enormous Basilica of Our Lady of Peace. Côte d'Ivoire is also remembered through Grand Bassam, with its colonial history and ocean atmosphere, Thai National Park with its rainforest life, and the beaches near Assini, where the Atlantic coast becomes part of the country's image. To understand Côte d'Ivoire, you have to imagine more than stadiums. You have to imagine atieke served with grilled fish, alako made from fried plantains, kedjanu cooked slowly with chicken and vegetables, futu, peanut-based sauces, spices, smoke, music, and family tables full of flavor. You have to imagine colorful markets, street food, coastal air, drums, dancing, and people gathering with a natural sense of rhythm. Côte d'Ivoire feels like a country of movement. Its culture carries many ethnic traditions, languages, sounds, and styles. Music is important, food is important, football is important. And when all of these things come together, the country brings a powerful West African identity to the World Cup. This is the culture Côte d'Ivoire brings to the World Cup. Football in Côte d'Ivoire is strong, physical, technical, and emotional. The national team is known as Les Éléphants, the Elephants, a name that suggests power, memory, and presence. When Côte d'Ivoire plays, there is always a feeling of strength, speed, and individual talent. The country has produced some of Africa's most famous football names. Didier Drogba became a global icon, a striker remembered for leadership, goals, and emotion. Yaya Touré brought power and intelligence to midfield. Kolo Touré, Gervinho, Salomon Kalou, and many others helped build the image of Ivorian football across Europe and the world. Côte d'Ivoire also carries recent continental pride. The country won the Africa Cup of Nations in 2023, a dramatic triumph that reminded the world of its football strength and resilience. That victory gave the team belief, identity, and a feeling that a new chapter could begin. And now, in 2026, there are important names carrying the story forward. Franck Kessié is the captain and one of the leaders, a midfielder known for strength, calmness, and control. Seko Fofana brings power, energy, and forward movement. Amad Diallo adds creativity, speed, and the ability to decide a match with one moment. Yan Diomande represents fresh attacking excitement. Nicolas Pepe brings experience and left-footed danger. Yahia Fofana gives security in goal, while Wilfried Singo and Ousmane Diomande bring athleticism and defensive strength. In 2026, Côte d'Ivoire arrives with history behind it and ambition in front of it. It is not just a team of individual talent, it is a team carrying the weight of a football nation that expects courage, intensity, and pride. So when Côte d'Ivoire steps onto the pitch, remember this. You are not only watching 11 players, you are watching a country of music, markets, grilled fish, tropical beaches, West African rhythm, football strength, famous legends, and the elephants carrying national pride onto the world stage. And now we move to another story from this group, a different flag, a different culture, a different football rhythm, another country, carrying its own history, its own flavors, its own places, and its own dream. Let's continue. Ecuador is a country in northwestern South America, sitting between Colombia, Peru, and the Pacific Ocean. It is a place where mountains, islands, rainforest, coastline, volcanoes, and altitude all meet inside one small but powerful national story. Its capital is Quito, one of the highest capital cities in the world, standing in the Andes with old churches, colonial streets, and mountains surrounding it. Ecuador is also known for Guayaquil, Cuenca, the Amazon region, the Galapagos Islands, Cotopaxi volcano, and the Equator Monument that gives the country its name. To understand Ecuador, you have to imagine more than stadiums. You have to imagine the taste of ceviche by the coast, locro de papa in the mountains, encebollado, hornado, yapingachos, and fresh tropical fruits from markets full of color. You have to imagine the Galapagos Islands with their unique wildlife, Quito under the shadow of the Andes, Cotopaxi rising like a giant, Cuenca with its old architecture, the Amazon rainforest, and the line of the equator passing through the country. Ecuador feels like a country of contrasts. It has Pacific beaches, high mountain cities, volcanic landscapes, deep rainforest, and islands unlike anywhere else on Earth. Its identity is shaped by indigenous traditions, Spanish influence, coastal rhythm, Andean life, and a strong connection to nature. This is the culture Ecuador brings to the World Cup. Football in Ecuador is physical, fast, disciplined, and full of South American intensity. The national team is often called La Tri because of the three colors of the Ecuadorian flag: yellow, blue, and red. Ecuadorian football has grown stronger across the years, built on athletic players, powerful defending, high energy, and confidence from competing in one of the hardest qualifying regions in the world. Altitude is also part of Ecuador's football identity. Playing in Quito can be difficult for visiting teams, and that mountain advantage has become part of the country's football story. But Ecuador is no longer only about altitude. It is now a team with players competing at a high level across Europe and South America. And within this team, there are important names carrying the story forward. Moises Caicedo is the heart of the midfield, a player known for strength, intelligence, ball winning, and control. Piero Hincapié brings calmness, left-footed quality, and defensive authority. William Pacho adds power and modern defensive presence. Ener Valencia is the experienced captain and all-time goal scorer, a forward whose World Cup memories already belong to Ecuadorian football history. Purvis Estupiñán gives width and energy on the left side, while Gonzalo Plata brings dribbling and attacking danger. Kendry Páez represents the future, a young talent with creativity and confidence, and Joel Ordóñez adds strength to a new defensive generation. Ecuador also remembers past names like Antonio Valencia, Agustín Delgado, and Iván Caviedes, players who helped open doors for the country on the world stage. In 2026, Ecuador arrives with belief, structure, and a generation that feels capable of more than just participating. It is a team built on speed, defense, pressure, and South American hunger. So when Ecuador steps onto the pitch, remember this: you are not only watching 11 players, you are watching a country of mountains, islands, rainforest, volcanoes, tropical flavors, altitude, national pride, and a powerful football generation carrying La Tri onto the world stage. And now we move to another story from this group: a different flag, a different culture, a different football rhythm, another country carrying its own history, its own flavors, its own places, and its own dream. Let's continue. Curaçao is a small island country in the southern Caribbean Sea, close to the coast of Venezuela. It is part of the Dutch Caribbean, a place where island life, European influence, African heritage, Latin rhythm, and tropical color meet in one bright national identity. Its capital is Willemstad, one of the most colorful cities in the Caribbean. Along the water, the buildings of Handelsskade stand in pastel shades of pink, yellow, blue, and orange, creating one of the most recognizable waterfronts in the region. Curaçao may be small, but its streets, beaches, music, and people give the island a spirit that feels much larger than its size. To understand Curaçao, you have to imagine more than stadiums. You have to imagine the taste of keshi yena, a rich stuffed cheese dish filled with meat and spices, warm stoba, pastechi eaten as a quick snack, seafood by the water, funchi, and tropical drinks served under the sun. You have to imagine Mambo Beach, Blue Bay, Sete Boca National Park, the colorful Dutch Caribbean streets of Willemstad, and waves hitting the rocky coastline. Curaçao feels like a country of color and rhythm. The island carries bright houses, clear water, sea wind, local music, different languages, and a relaxed Caribbean atmosphere. But behind that calm beauty, there is also pride, ambition, and the feeling of a small nation stepping into a much bigger football world. This is the culture Curaçao brings to the World Cup. Football in Curaçao is a story of connection. Many players have roots on the island while growing up or developing their careers in the Netherlands. That gives the national team a special identity, Caribbean heart, Dutch football education, and a dream shared by people both on the island and across the diaspora. For Curaçao, the 2026 World Cup is historic. It is not just another tournament, it is a debut on the biggest stage in football. For a country with such a small population, simply being there already feels like a victory of belief, organization, and persistence. And within this team, there are important names carrying the story forward. Leandro Bacuna brings leadership, experience, and midfield strength. Juninho Bacuna adds energy, movement, and creativity. Aloy Room gives the team experience in goal. Tahith Chong brings attacking quality and international recognition, while Jurgen Locadia adds power and presence up front. Livano Comenencia became part of Curaçao's World Cup memory by scoring the country's first goal on this stage. Players like Richedly Bazoer, Armando Obispo, and Cheryl Floranis also give the team valuable experience and structure. Curaçao's story is also connected to belief from the bench. Under experienced coach Dick Advocat, the team carries guidance, discipline, and the feeling that even a small island can organize itself for a global moment. In 2026, Curaçao arrives as an underdog, but also as one of the most beautiful stories of the tournament. It brings no heavy World Cup history, no old trophy cabinet, and no pressure from generations of expectations. Instead, it brings freshness, joy, and the rare emotion of a country living its first World Cup dream. So when Curaçao steps onto the pitch, remember this. You are not only watching 11 players, you are watching an island of bright colors, Dutch Caribbean streets, tropical food, beaches, music, pride, and a debut World Cup dream carried by a small nation with a very big heart. And that was one group from the 2026 FIFA World Cup. 4 countries, each carrying something different, different languages, different foods, different songs, different histories, different football dreams. This is what makes the World Cup beautiful. It is not only about who wins, It is about how the world gathers in one tournament. A flag becomes more than a flag, a team becomes more than 11 players, and a match becomes more than 90 minutes. Now, when you see these countries on the World Cup screen, they will not feel like simple names in a group. They will feel like places, like people, like cultures, like stories. And tonight you learned one more part of the World Cup,